and gentlemen, this is Harry Bryan with Nicest Corporation, and you are listening to the Galaxy's #1 3 pest control training program, the Pest Geek Podcast, hosted by my friend Frank Hernandez. Take it away, Frank.
My experience using Indeed and hiring people, all on this edition of the Pest Geek Podcast.
Pull out your hose and grab your can. We're about to integrate another Pest Geek Podcast. Hi, everybody. Frank Hernandez here, and welcome to the Pest Geek Podcast, bringing you the latest information on pests, products, and politics from today's leading industry sources to help you start, manage, and grow your pest control business.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. I am your host, Frank Hernandez, here every day discussing all things pest. And today I'm going to be discussing our experience in hiring people through Indeed and what we've been going through as a process. So it isn't a definitive thing to do, but I'm just going to share with you, for those of you who've never hired, who are looking to hire or going through the process of starting to hire, what at least you can expect. And we're going to be discussing statistics, the analytics behind it, the logic behind the process of using Indeed to hire people. So if you've never used it, I think it's going to be great podcast for you to listen to. So this is one of those where it's not, this is not an exact science, by the way. Nothing that we do in this business is really an exact science. There's so many variables. But at least you can get benefit from the experience. And this is what I'm going to share with you today. If you're listening to us and you want to get involved, you want to get join the society, join our group, Pest Geek Podcast Listeners Group. We are on Facebook. We also have a Facebook page, and we have a website, pestgeekpodcast.com. Also a YouTube channel, and we're going to be starting to do some videos there as well. If you've got videos that you want to share of you doing specific little training, that you want little tips and tidbits that you would like to share with the society, go ahead and email it to me. Just IM me, instant message me on Facebook, and join the group, and I'll be glad to give you an email where you can go ahead and send that to. So in any case, we're going to be discussing our Indeed. Indeed is probably the world's largest employment site. It's free to use. By the way, you can use it for free. The people who are looking for jobs use it for free. And also you can pay for what are known as a sponsored ads to boost the amount of candidates that you get. So they basically give you that option, a paid option, that you set a budget daily, and they tell you how much they can boost that for. But I'm going to tell you why we had to do this, and why we're going through this process of hiring pest control technicians through Indeed. We got a contract for 2 years in an inner city project that we're doing. It's part of a study that's being done by a university here and a couple of groups to study asthma in the inner city. And we were selected a year ago to do the IPM portion of that. And when we did the IPM portion, we did basically a proof of concept. We took what a lot of people had done already in inner city work. We had dozens of studies of what was expected, what was the results, what were the baselines, and we had all that analyzed. And then we went ahead and used our protocols, and we've got very, very good success in a very short amount of time, like 3 months. Which wasn't anywhere to get, but we were able to get very, very good results for this test and show that what we did helped reduce the allergens. And so we've got now a 2-year for the study extension, to do the study for 2 years, and we have to hire a technician from that inner city. What we did is we worked out a deal. It's a very interesting program because we worked out a deal to get a private money to sponsor the test. All this is, by the way, donated money from different agencies around the country, government agencies, and things like that. And we're not able to reveal where we're doing it and how we're doing it because it's under study. But what I can tell you is that we went ahead and said, let's raise the money privately for the study for the IPM portion. And we did. We got a donor to donate the money for the study for 2 years to do our part. And so one of the deals was that we created an inner city job program to create a job or two in the inner city for the raising of this money. So this was a whole ordeal, very coordinated between university, a local, it was an inner city development corporation, a city development, an organization group, very organized, very, very dedicated to what they're doing, and then us. And a couple of, and a bunch of students that are going to be leading up, graduate students, with masters in this program and, heading up the study. So it's a collaborative effort, really interesting project. And we have to hire 2 people that have to live within those city limits because that's the requirement. So we're already got the deck stacked against us. We started, 4 months ago. Looking for the technician. They were doing with their inner city contacts. Couldn't get anybody. So I said we put out a job description, and the job description wasn't getting any traction. So I said, let me take a look at it. And obviously, I understand SEO. I understand that Indeed is a search engine. And I said, let's do it this way. And I wrote the ad out, and I wrote it, and I've gotten 187 views in the last 3 weeks since we did this ad. It was created January 18, and we're about the 10th right now, the 9th. So about 9 days ago, and we've gotten 63 candidates for this job. It's a part-time job. It's an entry-level position. We didn't put out an ad for an experienced technician. We have a set of protocols that we're going to train on, and these protocols have to be followed exactly. So we don't want people with previous experience saying, I know how to do pest control better than anybody. This is for a study, and it has to be done a certain way. We're looking for a certain type of person that can follow those directions. We're going to be highly supervised, so they're not working on their own. They're learning. It's a part of a training program and a learning, and then getting certifications. And we're doing the Purdue training for them so they can get certification. So it's a very, very thought out program for them to be able to get out of the life that they're in and into a better career. They have to have a high school diploma. They have to be in plans to getting it. So we worked this whole thing out, which is really elaborate. And I put an ad out for a pest control technician assistant trainee with the city in it. Why? Because there are people looking for jobs in entry. It's an entry level job. We're going to pay between $8.50 to $13 an hour for this project for 2 years. And then hopefully they will stay on with us. And so the training, assistant training, because people are looking for a technician job or an assistant job or a trainee. They're trying to get into an entry level, and they're looking for those keywords. So we put all that in there, and we got 63 candidates. All right. Out of 63 candidates that we got, only 27 qualified, because they either lived very far, and they had to live within the city limits. Mostly that was the limitation, but we put the city in there, and we put you must live in the city. But people are desperate for a job, so they're just going to apply anyway. They don't care. They don't understand what we're doing. And we got, out of 63 candidates, 27 were qualified. Based upon having a high school diploma, having all the prerequisite criteria, living in the city, all the things that we requested, that they can have a clean background, that they don't have any previous criminal history, and all this has to be. And then we have to go through a process now of weeding them out, and if they are qualified and we interview them, and they don't have, then we still need to get a clearance letter, and we need to go through the whole background check thing. It's an elaborate process. It takes a long time to go through this and go through this many people. Well, we went ahead and we found 5 out of the 20 something that really qualified, and we scheduled interviews for them. Well, out of 5, only 1 showed up for the interview. So you can see we've got, people who applied, versus people who are qualified. When we weed them out, 27 are waiting review. 18 actually responded to my email saying, yes, you know, we live within the city limits. We are interested out of those. And then we still have, we rejected automatically 16 of those. So I'm giving you data. And so far, we only got one candidate that we interviewed. And then we went and did the second interview for that candidate. And now we have one person hired. This is after about 10 days. And that was the process. So you can see that hiring people can be a very laborious task, and why most people don't want to go through this process. What most people are doing is saying, I would just want a warm body, somebody that has experience, somebody I don't have to train, somebody that's qualified. But finding them is the challenge, especially if you are in a very, very large market like us, where we got 1.8 million people and you don't know who anybody is, and everybody is, you know, that many people, you have no idea who you're interviewing, who's online, who's hiring. You got to be very, very careful. And we have to go through a big elaborate process of hiring people, and it's very laborious, very time consuming. And we did the online, the agency did the preliminary contact. You're talking about contacting 15, 17 people and only 5 respond. You applied for a job. You would think that you would reply back to an email or a phone call and get back to the people calling you for that job. Well, nobody did. Only 5 did. And then when time came for the interview date, they didn't even show up. There was a conversation over the phone about what the job was and what they were expecting and the pay and the increases and the amount of studying you'll have to do. And, you know, we're putting them through the process of 13 classes through Univar. The Univar course. And those are an introductory course that we're going to be doing. We're going to do 40 hours of field and online training. Then everything else is on the job. And on top of that, to get the raises and to get the promotions to level 1, level 2, level 3, they have to go through the Purdue course. And we put them through about 3 classes in Purdue over the next year, too. So in 2 years, they're more knowledgeable and qualified if they stick with this program as a training program, because it's a pilot program that we're also developing for job training for this kind of work. And we're using this as a pilot program to hire and show companies how to do a lot of this that we're doing. So a lot of it is involved very dedicated people. This is like a staff. We're working with a group of about 20-something people on this project, and most of them have more PhDs than I know what to do with. So it's really exciting, really having. But I thought I'd share with you what our process, what we're going through, what we're doing, the things that we're involved in. A lot of people don't want to get involved in. We're doing a lot of highly specialized stuff that most small companies don't get into. And, it's part of my, culture, my upbringing corporately, and the things that I want to go after, the things that I want to achieve. I don't want to be a Me Too company doing the same thing everybody's doing. So we're doing a lot of things differently. And I hope that this, at least the process, is eye-opening for you. It isn't conclusive. We still don't know how these candidates are going to do. We don't know what's going to happen. Human beings are human beings. But at least we're giving people a chance. We're doing something that's positive in the community, and we're getting really involved in things that really matter. And those are values for us that, as a company, as a culture, that we want to instill in people. And this is part of the corporate culture that we're developing for our company, is what we do and how we do it, is more important. The why is more important than the killing. A lot of people, when we interviewed them on the phone, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be going around spraying for roaches. And that's what they really thought until I explained the process. And most people are like, well, that's just a little bit too much for us, or, I don't think I can do it, or yes, man, that sounds really exciting. I really want to be part of that. So that's the process. I hope this has been helpful to you guys, and I will go ahead and see you again tomorrow. Until then, have a pestacular day.
Thank you for listening to the Pest Geek Podcast. If you have enjoyed the Pest Geek Podcast, please give us a rating, write a review, or subscribe to the channel. You can join the Pest Geek Society by visiting pestgeekpodcast.com. Thank you for listening. See you next time.